Hi, and welcome back to NM Adventure and Tales. Sorry that I haven't been posting as much very frequently. I've just been a little busy. However, I have a story for you, and this story is titled Juan's Last Drink. And it originates out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. So, let's get on with it. Oh my, but Juan was a drinking man. If there was any drink to be had in house or town, Juan was sure to find it and would be as drunk as a lord before you knew it. How his good wife, Maria, put up with him, I don't know. She brought Juan to church in Albuquerque every week, and the padre would admonish him over and over to mend his ways. The devil, said the padre, would come for Juan's soul if he did not stop his drinking. Maria wailed and clasped her rosary beads in despair when she heard this pronouncement. But Juan just laughed. The devil, he will not get me, Juan boasted. So Juan continued his drinking. He drank wine at home, and he drank beer with his neighbors. One afternoon, he visited his friend who was the alcalde, or known as the mayor, of a town outside Albuquerque, and they sat in the local bar drinking hard liquor and talking all afternoon. The alcalde and Juan staggered out of the bar just before dusk. The alcalde handed Juan a half-empty bottle of whiskey and made his way home, walking a little too straight and a little too careful. Juan wove up to his wagon, carefully placed the bottle of whiskey on the seat, then tried to climb up the side of his horse. He promptly slid off the other side of the horse and lay blinking up at the darkening sky. Finally, Juan remembered that his horse was attached to a wagon, so he climbed up the other side of the wagon and stumbled his way into the seat. Juan pointed his horse west, hoping the animal would know how to get home. Then he finished drinking up the bottle of whiskey, singing boisterously as he drove. When the bottle was empty, Juan tossed it over the side of the wagon. Immediately, the bottle reversed direction and hit him on the head. Wham! Juan clutched his head and stared at the empty bottle at his feet. Carefully, Juan picked it up and threw it over the side of the wagon. Wham! It hit him in the head again. As Juan reached for the bottle a third time, he saw something out of the corner of his eye. An elegantly dressed man was sitting on a gilded chair in the back of the wagon. Juan was stunned. He knew there had been no man and no chair when he climbed up to his seat. He turned quickly to look behind him. The back of the wagon was empty. Juan faced front and leaned down toward the bottle at his feet, glancing behind him and out of the corner of his eye. There was the man again. The man was obviously a caballero, for he was dressed in the finest black silk with elaborate silver trim. He was pulling on a pair of gloves. Juan's heart started pounding fast when he saw that the man had long claws rather than fingers. Just then, Juan heard a friendly shout from the side of the road. He sat erect and looked over at Rico, who was cleaning up his tools after mending a fence on his property. Juan, what brings you home so late? Does Maria know you were drinking with the alcalde? Maria thinks I went to town to do business, Juan called back with a forced laugh. Say, amigo, do you see a man in the back of my wagon? Rico laughed heartily. Your wagon is as empty as your head, Juan. If you are seeing things back there, it is time to go home. Anyway, Maria will be worried. It's almost dark." Rico waved and smiled as Juan drove past him. As soon as he was out of sight, Juan reached again for the bottle, peering through the corner of his eye into the back of the wagon. The man in the black silk was still sitting on the elegant chair, but now he stared mockingly at Juan with eyes of red fire. Juan gulped and sat up very straight. He did not know what to do. The devil was riding in the wagon with him. Juan turned his head a bit, looked back over his left shoulder. The devil gave him a slight smile and beckoned to him with one black-gloved hand. Juan gave him an involuntary jerk on the reins. His horse whined in protest and stopped. Juan glanced back again, and the devil stood up and stepped toward him. Juan let out a terrified yell that spooked his horse. Juan pulled the plunging horse to a stop, leaped out of the wagon, and fell to his knees. "Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you." Juan prayed desperately. "Blessed are you among women." He could clearly see the devil now standing in the back of the wagon, beckoning for Juan to come up and join him. Juan closed his eyes and said the Hail Mary over and over. It was the only prayer he could remember in his panic. After several minutes of loud praying, Juan heard the wagon creak as the devil stepped down to the ground. Juan gasped, scuttled away on his knees, still saying Hail Marys. The devil frowned at him. Juan said another Hail Mary. The devil shook his head angrily and walked away. Juan kept saying Hail Marys until the devil was out of sight. Then he jumped into the wagon and raced toward home. Just before Juan reached his farm, the empty bottle of whiskey rose up from the floor of the wagon and bashed him in the head. Juan let out a terrified whimper and looked behind him, expecting to see the devil. Standing in back of the wagon was a beautiful angel, dressed all in white. And the angel was staring at him disapprovingly. The angel pointed to the empty whiskey bottle. It rose up into the air and hit Juan in the head again. "If you don't stop drinking," the angel said, making the bottle bounce off Juan's head with each word, "there is no prayer on this earth that can save you from the devil." The angel disappeared and the bottle clattered to the floor of the wagon. Juan never took a drink again. I guess you could say if only every borracho or every drunk person could have an experience like this, they would be cured of their alcoholism. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I will have more, and I will be more frequent on my page. So please like, share, and subscribe for more. Y'all have a good day and take care.